have a clinic here on the Gold Coast of Australia, specialising in hormones and menopause and women 40 plus. Why is it so important for women to have their hormones tested?
Women in our community wait too long to get their hormones tested, if at all. They get the symptoms of menopause, so they have the night sweats, daytime hot flushes. They suddenly find their face filling up with heat, and then they're embarrassed in their jobs because everyone works in menopause of these days, not like our grandmothers who were able to stay home and be comfortable. But in these days we are embarrassed in offices, and we have the over pressure, and so she doesn't recognize that it is her hormones. She thinks it's, you know, the pressure of living, the job, too busy, the husband's demanding, too much going on, and she's overworked. And quite often, until she breaks out in hot sweats, she doesn't realize she's menopausal. And by that time, it's a fraction late. Now, we can still fix it, balancing her hormones, no question. But if we can get them to realize a little earlier that they might be going into perimenopause, then we can assess the hormones, rebalance them even while she's still having periods, and that means her transition into full menopause later is much better, much easier. She doesn't have the dramatic mood changes and all. You know the 7 dwarfs of menopause? Itchy, bitchy, weepy, sweaty, bloated, forgetful, and psycho. And women say, oh, that's me, that's me. Well, by the time all 7 dwarfs have taken up residence, you needed to be here a year ago, right? So once they get a few little symptoms come in, and that way their exercise routine, their dieting efforts, and their coping mechanism with their job and their families will be so much better when their hormones are rebalanced.
Yes, it certainly makes sense, and a lot of people leave it to the last minute until they're experiencing severe symptoms to actually come in and go, oh, please fix me.
Yes.
You know, prevention is always better than cure.
Yes, a lot of them wait until they're desperate. It's not that it's harder to fix, it's just why live like that for a couple of years before you get help, when help is readily available.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the main issues, I mean, especially during, you know, with personal trainers and exercising, a lot of women think that they can come in and have one session and their fat melts away and drops off and disappears around the corner somewhere, and they don't have to come back again. How is that with hormones?
Well, they think that with hormones sometimes too, and because I get women who say they have dramatic relief immediately, it comes that everybody feels they're going to get dramatic relief. And whilst that's very pleasing when it happens, the more common experience is it takes a couple of weeks to get them right, and then whatever you give them in the way of natural hormones to rebalance them has to be retested, and maybe the prescription has to be tweaked a little more of that, a little less of that, and so on. And so it's not until a month or so when you get the second test done that you know things are back on a rail. And then I don't need to test you more than a couple of times a year, perhaps 2 or 3 times a year, you know, is plenty once you get them balanced. But it takes, you know, a little time to get balanced. Some people get dramatic relief immediately, and some people take another few weeks to get balanced. But it's a natural process. It's an easy process once you know how to do it. And in Natural Hormone Clinics Australia, we just know the tests to do, how to prescribe, what to give you next, and to tweak. And an important thing is for women who come back and say, I am getting relief of my hot flushes, but I still get like 1 or 2 in the day. And that tells me fantastic amount of I know what to do with that then. If they don't get dramatic relief and they just walk away, that's hopeless because you don't know how to tweak it. And it must be the same in personal training. If they come in and they learn a few exercises and they're put through the proper routines and they don't lose weight, they don't come back. And that's frustrating for you, I'm sure. They need to come back and do it again and change whatever needs to be done, and then be patient with their bodies and make sure that they follow it through to the end. And then they will get the relief that they deserve.
Yes, absolutely. Consistency is key.
Consistency, exactly right. Exactly right. I'm very happy to point out that you can get a lot of information through your MenoFitness group, and you can get a lot of information from the website, and I believe in information. It empowers women to understand how everything links together, your exercise, your diet and your hormones, and get it right from the beginning and you'll coast through.
Yeah, so with MenoFitness, a big part or a big component of MenoFitness is the education.
Yeah.
And there's so many women out there, like we've just discussed, different beliefs, and they don't know what to believe and what not to believe. So education is really important, and of course they can find that with you. And not many hormone specialists, or not many doctors or GPs, shall I say, actually provide that information to their clients.
No, and a lot of GPs, up to recently, most doctors were men. It's only in the last 15 years or so that the proportion of men to women in medical school has changed. Now we're getting more women coming through, and that, I would think, in 20 years' time, when those women become menopausal, there will be a whole surge of interest in menopause. But men previously, God bless them, we couldn't live with them, we can't live without them. They have menopausal women at home. It aggravates them beyond measure. They give their women HRT to basically shut them up, and they don't want to know anymore. And because HRT, synthetic HRT, is proposed by pharmaceutical companies, there's a lot of money attached to it. Research grants for university departments, medical schools, and so on. So that's what they teach. There is no money for doctors or for educating doctors in natural hormones, because you can't patent natural hormones. And so therefore they don't get the education in natural hormones through the normal channels. And one of my roles is to educate doctors. But until they accept the information, women are not going to get any information from GPs. It's only a handful in every town that know anything about it.
Which is really quite sad.
Of course it's quite sad, and I think I'm on a mission to make that better.
Yeah, well, good for you.
Yay.
We can do it together.
We can.